Hello and welcome to News Analysis, where we break down the latest news, trends, and global events in ways that matter to you. I'm Michelle, and each week, we'll take a closer look on historic Biltmore Estate suffers extensive damage after Hurricane Helene. Thrashes, North Carolina. The iconic Biltmore Estate, a renowned historical landmark located in Asheville, North Carolina, has suffered significant damage after Hurricane Helene ravaged the state. The estate, which is the largest privately owned home in the United States and a symbol of Gilded Age architecture, was hit hard by the storm's powerful winds and torrential rains. Damage report. Early assessments indicate that several areas of the estate were severely impacted. The gardens, known for their meticulously manicured landscapes, suffered extensive flooding, with many historic trees uprooted and rare plant species destroyed. Parts of the Biltmore House itself, which dates back to the late 19th century, sustained roof and structural damage. Windows were shattered by debris, and water infiltration has caused damage to parts of the interior. The estate's popular tourist facilities, including the conservatory and winery, were also affected. Some tours have been suspended as estate staff and emergency response teams assess and repair the damage. However, Biltmore officials have expressed their commitment to restoring the estate as quickly as possible while preserving its historical integrity. Impact on North Carolina. Hurricane Helene, a Category 3 storm, has caused widespread destruction across North Carolina. Wind speeds reached up to 120 miles per hour, causing power outages, flooding, and property damage across multiple counties. Asheville, usually shielded from the brunt of Atlantic hurricanes due to its inland location, was nonetheless heavily impacted this time, with Helene's unusual trajectory catching many off guard. Local authorities have warned residents to stay safe and avoid unnecessary travel as recovery efforts begin. The damage to Biltmore has drawn national attention, with historians and preservationists expressing concerns about the long-term effects on one of America's most significant cultural landmarks. Restoration efforts. Biltmore Estate's restoration team is already at work, coordinating with experts to secure and protect the historic property. The estate spokesperson has reassured the public that while the damage is extensive, they have a solid plan to restore the estate to its former glory. Despite the setback, the estate plans to reopen parts of the property to the public as soon as it is safe to do so, continuing its legacy as one of the nation's most treasured historic sites. Historic Biltmore Estate suffers extensive damage after Hurricane Helene. Thrashes, North Carolina. Asheville and C. The Biltmore Estate, one of America's most cherished and historic landmarks, is reeling from the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, which thrashed North Carolina earlier this week. The estate, situated in the Blue Ridge Mountains, suffered what officials are calling extensive damage, with key areas of the 8,000-acre property severely affected by the storm's powerful winds and heavy rainfall. A cultural icon at risk. Built in 1895 by George Washington Vanderbilt II, the Biltmore Estate is celebrated not only for its sheer scale, being the largest privately owned home in the United States, but also for its unique blend of architectural grandeur and historical significance. The chateau-style mansion boasts 250 rooms and is a living monument to the opulence of the Gilded Age. Each year, millions of visitors tour its lavish interiors and sprawling gardens, a vibrant display of landscape artistry designed by Frederick Law Olmsted, the mastermind behind New York's Central Park. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, however, much of this grandeur has been threatened. Preliminary assessments indicate that multiple sections of the estate have been compromised. The Biltmore House and surroundings, structural damage. The main building, an architectural masterpiece, has reportedly sustained damage to its roof and walls. Sections of the roof were torn away by the storm's 120 miles per hour winds, exposing parts of the interior to water damage. A number of the estate's iconic windows were shattered by flying debris, allowing rainwater to seep into some of the mansion's most historic rooms. Paintings, tapestries, and antique furniture within the house have been safeguarded to prevent further damage, but early reports suggest that some priceless artifacts may have suffered due to the storm's intensity. Flooding and landscape destruction. Biltmore's famous gardens and landscapes, meticulously preserved for more than a century, have experienced devastation. Heavy rainfall caused flooding in several parts of the estate, submerging delicate flora and destroying parts of the meticulously planned landscapes. Centuries-old trees were uprooted, and some of the rare plant species cultivated in the estate's botanical collection were completely submerged or washed away. The estate's conservatory, which houses tropical and exotic plants, was not spared either, with several areas flooded and windows damaged. Tourism and revenue impact. The Biltmore Estate is not only a historical treasure but also a major tourist destination, drawing nearly 1.5 million visitors annually. Its popularity generates significant revenue for the region and contributes to local employment, with hundreds of staff members engaged in the daily operations of the estate, including tour guides, hospitality staff, and horticulturists. As of now, all tours of the mansion have been suspended, and a large section of the estate remains closed to the public while damage assessments are underway. The winery, a popular attraction on the estate grounds, also sustained damage, with portions of the vineyard and tasting rooms temporarily closed. The shutdown is expected to have a financial ripple effect, not only for the estate itself but for the surrounding Asheville area, which relies on the influx of visitors for local businesses such as hotels, restaurants, and shops. The economic impact could be significant, especially as North Carolina is still reeling from the broader effects of Helene. Restoration challenges. Restoring the Biltmore Estate will be no small task. Estate officials, working in tandem with architects, preservationists, and disaster recovery teams, have already begun the painstaking process of stabilizing the property and protecting its historical treasures. Given the magnitude of the damage, experts believe the restoration could take months, if not longer, and will require substantial financial resources. The Biltmore Company, which oversees the estate, has expressed confidence in its ability to bring the property back to life. "This is a challenging moment for us, but the Biltmore has weathered many storms in its long history," said a spokesperson for the estate. "We are committed to restoring this beloved national landmark to its full splendor, and we are deeply grateful for the outpouring of support from the public." Broader impact on North Carolina. Hurricane Helene, a Category 3 storm, made landfall earlier this week and left a trail of destruction across North Carolina, especially in coastal and mountain regions. More than 500,000 residents were left without power as the storm swept inland. Asheville, normally shielded from the brunt of Atlantic hurricanes due to its location in the western part of the state, took a direct hit as Helene's unusual path pushed it toward the mountains. Across the state, emergency services have been working around the clock to provide assistance to those affected by widespread flooding, downed power lines, and structural damage. Road closures, power outages, and impassable terrain have complicated recovery efforts. While coastal areas are more accustomed to hurricane threats, inland regions like Asheville are grappling with the long-term impacts of such a powerful storm. Calls for support as restoration begins at the Biltmore Estate. Local officials have issued calls for donations and volunteer assistance to aid in the recovery process. Historic preservation groups have also stepped in, pledging their expertise to help repair the damage while maintaining the estate's historical integrity. The damage has drawn national attention, with historians, preservationists, and Biltmore fans expressing concern for one of the country's most beloved cultural landmarks. Despite the extensive damage, the Biltmore Estate remains committed to its mission of preserving history. Plans to reopen sections of the estate to visitors are already in the works, with officials vowing that, in time, the estate will once again welcome visitors to experience the majesty of America's largest private home. Hurricane Helene's destructive force has left a lasting impact on North Carolina, but none more poignantly than at the Biltmore Estate. As restoration efforts continue, this Gilded Age jewel stands as a testament to resilience and determination, facing yet another chapter in its long and storied history. The public and preservationists alike are hopeful that, with time and care, the estate will rise from the wreckage, continuing to inspire future generations with its beauty, history, and enduring legacy. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and support News Analysis channel. Your one step towards News Analysis channel will help us to gather more informations.